Well, I believe that the talks are going to restart. Not restart, but I think before the World Cup there were already a few meetings between Daniel Levy and his brother. We know about the sort of the links, if you want, with Bayern Munich. Really honest at the weekend said that it was too expensive for Bayern Munich anyway, which we kind of knew before. It's not just the transfer fee that you will have to pay Spurs, by the way, because he still has 2 years left on his contract after this season. But it's also the wages. He's earned a lot of money. He's earning a lot of money already. You would need to pay him more to attract him to your club, regardless of what your club is. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was going to sign a new deal at the club and staying at Spurs for longer.
We know his ambition is to win a trophy with Spurs, Stevie. Obviously, that time runs out with every season.
I'd love to win the World Cup with Scotland.
OK. All right, well,
there's as much chance of Scotland winning the World Cup as Harry Kane winning it with top. I mean, listen, again, Harry Kane, in my opinion, unfortunately has signed his contracts at the wrong time. Joel says he's got 2 years left after this year. That means that the only way he's leaving, if somebody comes in with an incredibly high offer, and by that time he's going to have a 3 in front of his age. I don't see that happening. It looks to me as though Harry Kane is going to be a one-club man.
Right.
He's going to be the top scorer of all time. He might be the top scorer of all time in the Premier League as well. But guess what? He's going to have no trophy cabinet whatsoever.
But I suppose you could say Alan Shearer didn't win anything, did he? Does that diminish his achievement as a striker? Does that diminish his top goal-scoring record?
Alan Shearer won the Premier League with Blackburn.
Oh, facts. Stupid facts.
By the way, he's been sitting waiting to go. I've got him.
Yes, I forgot about that. Stupid Blackburn. I was thinking of Newcastle, obviously.
To that point, I think the question for Harry Kane and where he goes to realise some of that silverware is which club takes him? Which club is in that much of a need and which club is prepared to pay that kind of money? And truth be told, after City failing their bid a couple of years ago, after Bayern Munich seemed put off by whatever the asking price was it a year ago? Right now, the only option is Chelsea, who are just happy to buy anybody and pay any kind of money and are in desperate need for a striker. Now, there's Daniel Levy. We see how reluctant he is to do business with Premier League clubs anyway. Another London club, probably even more so. So that's his one option. And that's one I guess Harry Kane has to decide as to whether he wants to go. Todd Bowley has shown he's prepared to spend ridiculous money. Maybe that prizes Harry Kane away, but other than that, it's not as though he's in a position where he can play in one club off the next.
And what about Manchester United, Mark? They need a striker, obviously. They got the money.
I don't know if they got the money, not right now, but they might have in the summer. The thing with McCain is that I think the guys might be a bit misplaced. I think his contract expires at the end of next season, so he's got 18 months of his contract. So this is the decisive summer. He either signs a new contract, so he runs it down, or Tottenham decide, look, we can't risk losing him for nothing in 18 months' time. So he has to go, and I think that, for me, makes him more likely to go to United than anyone else, because he ain't going to go to Arsenal. He's not going to go to Chelsea, because he's just not going to move to a London club. I just don't think he'd want that hassle in his life, to be honest. Liverpool are well stocked for forwards. Man City are well stocked with Erling Haaland. So it's either Man United or Newcastle if he wants to stay in the Premier League. And we all know that he wants to break Alan Shearer's record. And I think United are making progress now. They're a team that's coming together, but they obviously lack firepower. They lack a striker. They're looking good in other departments. But we saw at Arsenal at the weekend that if Marcus Rashford isn't on form, isn't scoring goals, and he did score at the weekend, but how long can that last? They've got nothing else. Weghorst is clearly a short-term option. Anthony doesn't do very much. Anthony Martial's never fit. Harry Kane is the perfect signing for Man United in the summer. He's like a modern-day version of Robin van Persie. Yes, he's 29, 30 later this year, but that doesn't matter. United need somebody right now who can score goals to take them to that next level. I think Kane is the guy, and I think with the fact that he's got 18 months on his contract and it'll be 12 months in the summer, then Daniel Levy's power in negotiations have diminished. What is he going to hold out for? Maybe 60 million, 70 million maximum? I think that is a fair price for Harry Kane at 29. So, yes, he might get offers from abroad, but I think he's so keen to get the Premier League goal scoring record. He's 61 away now, that I think United is the only option, unless he's one of these players, an Alan Shearer or a Francesco Totti, who wants to play for the club that he grew up supporting, and says at Tottenham for the goals record, but he's not going to win anything else. So he's either a fan of Tottenham or he's a professional footballer with a kind of a cold head, and he goes to Man United.
Could you understand, Shaka, if he stayed at Spurs?
Yes. Because that's his boyhood club, and there's a real attraction to it. And you mentioned Alan Shearer, and Mark just spoke about him having played with Alan.
He won the Premier League with Blackburn,
Well,
I hear.
that's what I somehow seem to recall. But just understanding the draw of playing for your hometown club, the club that you grew up supporting. I understand that. I witnessed it firsthand. So I certainly can sympathise with that if that's the direction that Harry Kane goes. But to your point, or to Stevie's point, right now as Spurs are set up, I don't see Spurs challenging the top clubs in the Premier League for significant silverware. So if you're Harry Kane, and with all these records for club and country and for the league beckoning, to retire with just those individual records and nothing to show by way of silverware, I'm not sure that that's enticing enough.
Best players want to win the trophies, Dan. The big players want to win the trophies. It's one thing to have the goals, and yes, you can go back to that. But the reason we all play the game in the first place is to play in the cup final. It's to win the league. It's to win silverware. And when Harry Kane's finished, if Harry Kane decides to stay at Tottenham, in 10, 15 years, when he's whatever he's doing, and somebody says, oh, the FA Cup's on, did you win the FA Cup? Well, no.
No,
well, the League Cup, mate, did you win it? But that's the way it goes.
Goal scoring record, isn't it?
Sorry?
He will have the Premier League goal scoring record.
Dan, when you were a kid, right, how many people did you say, oh, I wish I was the top goal scorer in the First Division in Scotland or England or anywhere else? No, you never. You want to score in the cup final. You want to win the championship. You want to be a winner. You want silverware. You want trophies. You want medals. Is it great to be the top scorer in the Premier League of all time? Absolutely it is. But we don't play the game for that. We play the game for trophies.
Is it not that he has the self-belief that as long as he's there at Spurs, maybe he can make this happen?
Well, if he does, he's dreaming. How long has he been there?
Right.
10 years? How long has he been the top scorer every single year? How long has he been the talisman every year? How long has he carried this team every year? He's carried them for a decade, and they're still no closer to winning anything. So, if he's delusional, then yes. But really, if he wants to win trophies, he has to get out the door.
How do you see this ending, Jules?
I mean, I think he wants to stay. I think he values more winning something with Spurs than winning it somewhere else, which I can understand. I agree with what Stevie says, though, of course. It's about winning trophies. The goal-scoring record, it will be. It potentially will be beaten one day. All records are beaten at some point. Erling Haaland can beat the record. I don't know, someone else would come in. Kylian Mbappe can sign for an English club and beat that. Anything is possible. So those records usually don't stay as long, don't stay like your trophies stay forever. You know how many Champions League you've won, how many leagues you've won, doubles, etc., etc. So Stevie is right, makes a good point. But would he feel more valued if he wins it with Spurs than if he wins it with United or Chelsea or someone else in another league? It looks like it, and that's why I think he wants to stay, and that's why I think his brother is going to sit down with Daniel Levy again. They will talk about an extension, and I wouldn't be surprised if he signs it.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.